Thank you, Typher, for sponsoring this video. Today I'm making 5 levels of sandwiches, but there's a catch. I wrote down 20 of the world's most famous sandwiches, and I'm gonna take these and put them inside of this hat. Then for each level, I'm gonna randomly pull out one sheet of paper, and that's gonna be the sandwich I have to make. But the real challenge here is that each sandwich has to be fancier than the last one, no matter which one I pick. And some of these sandwiches are not meant to be fancy. Like imagine if I pulled PB&J for level 5. That would be pretty tough to do. I hope that doesn't happen. Now let's pull our first sandwich. And our first sandwich, the hamburger. Okay, let's make a level 1 hamburger. Okay, so since this is the level 1 burger and I don't wanna get too fancy too fast and create a problem for ourselves later in this video, I'm gonna be starting with what I call a dad style burger. Let me show you. I'm using 80/20 ground beef. I guess we'll shape it into a ball like that. Season it with a bunch of salt on top and smash it down. It's a pretty thick smash burger, but I think that's what dads want. Flip. Look at that nice caramelization. To assemble the burger, we're swapping out our buns for white bread. I'm kind of just going for the vibe of like you catch your dad making this in the kitchen, the lowest effort burger possible that has some strange ingredients. So we're adding yellow mustard to one piece, and then on the other piece, I'm actually adding a French onion dip. I'm also gonna add some chips, and I'll add the burger. Now we can close that up, give it a press, and there we go, a level 1 hamburger. Let's cut it in half and get a cross section. Is this the best looking burger I've ever seen? No, definitely not. Feels very level 1. It's really not bad though, but we can level up from here for sure. So now let's pull for our level 2 sandwich. And just a reminder, whatever we pull from here has to be fancier than the last one. Our level 2 sandwich is chicken parm. That might be a bad thing actually. Chicken parms are really nice. Hopefully this isn't too much too fast, but let's make a chicken parm. So to make a chicken parm sandwich, we're gonna start by making some chicken cutlets, dip it into egg, then into flour. Should have put the flour next to the egg, that would have been smart. I didn't do that though. And I did season this flour with a bit of smoked paprika, salt, and pepper. Then we're gonna go back into the egg and into some breadcrumbs. Just like that. Then we can take our breaded pieces of chicken and place them into our Typher Dome 2 air fryer at 425 degrees Fahrenheit for about 13 minutes. Typher is the sponsor of today's video, so I want to tell you a little bit more about the Typher Dome 2 air fryer. The Typher Dome 2 is unique from other air fryers because it has both a top and a bottom heating element, while most air fryers just have the top one. It also has this really wide basket, which means you can cook more food in this one than you can in most other air fryers. This has been super helpful for those busy weeknights where Brittany and I just need a delicious meal that's quick and easy to make. Like the other day, we made pizzas by taking some store-bought pizza dough, spreading it out on some parchment paper, and then adding sauce, shredded cheese, pepperoni, and banana peppers. Those are my favorite pizza toppings. Then after just 14 minutes on the Dome 2's pizza setting, we had an amazing crispy pizza that I seriously couldn't believe that we made in an air fryer. But maybe the most impressive part of this all is that you can actually cook a steak in the air fryer. Yeah, the Dome 2 has a steak mode where the bottom heating element gets super hot and actually sears the steak. I was honestly really skeptical about this at first, but then I made this steak in the Typher Dome 2 and it turned out amazing. And the best part is that once you're done, you can even turn on the self-cleaning mode to burn off any grease stuck on those hard to reach places. I highly recommend getting your own Typher Dome 2, and I can even give you 10% off if you use my discount code CHEFTYLER at checkout. Now is a great time to grab one because Typher's Easter sale runs through April 12th, and you can use my code CHEFTYLER to get an extra 10% off on top of the sale price, so don't miss out. Now let's check in on our air fried chicken cutlets and finish assembling our level 2 sandwich. Okay, so now that our chicken cutlets are fully cooked, we can start assembling the sandwich. I have my groceries delivered and I ordered sub rolls, and this is what I got for a sub sandwich. This is literally like hot dog size. Oh, hold on, I have a hot dog. You could literally use this as like a hot dog bun, not a sub roll. Well, the good news is, I think it's gonna help us make this sandwich not too fancy. I'm gonna cut up our chicken cutlets. Wow, I really only needed like one of those little ones. Now I'm gonna take some tomato sauce, spread that on top. And don't be shy with the tomato sauce. I feel like every time I make chicken parm, I'm always like, I could have added more sauce. And then you're gonna add some cheese. I'm actually adding provolone cheese, because that's what I got. Why is this so small? And then to melt our cheese, I'm actually gonna take the sandwich and put it back in the air fryer for just a couple minutes. I'll put the top bun in there too. Let's put it on the toast setting for 3 minutes. And here it is, we melted the cheese. Ooh, that bread is so crispy. And I have one last finishing touch for this sandwich. I think it's gonna blow your mind. I'm gonna add some basil. Where am I gonna get the basil though? It's a basil plant. I hope at least one person finds that amusing. The basil was there the whole time. And you slice it up, sprinkle it on top, and there we have it. Our level 2 chicken parm sandwich. It looks like somebody tried to make a sandwich out of an Olive Garden breadstick. There's level 2 for you. We cut it in half, and here's our cross section. And look who showed up.
It smells good.
special guest appearance from Brittany. What we got here is a level 2 chicken parm sandwich.
Wow.
On a breadstick, apparently.
It's a gorgeous breadstick.
I think it's gonna be delicious.
It does look really good. It worked. Bye.
I guess let's make a level 3 sandwich. Our level 3, the chip buddy. Oh no, I was worried something like this might happen. So if you're not familiar with it, a chip buddy is a British sandwich that is white bread, butter, and chips. It's gonna be really hard to make this fancier than the last chicken parm, but I've got an idea. So let's start by talking about the bread. My first instinct is to upgrade it to a sourdough bread like this, but when I did some research about the chip buddy, I feel like it's really important to have just a soft white bread, which is tough because I feel like it's not fancy, but I feel like since the sourdough is a lot firmer, I don't know, it might just mess with what the sandwich is supposed to be. So I think I'm gonna stick with the white bread and we'll have to compensate with our other ingredients. If you're British, let me know in the comments if I'm making the right choice here. Now let's talk about the chips. Admittedly, the best option would probably be to just use some frozen fries, but since this is level 3, I feel obligated to try to make them fancier, so I'm gonna make some homemade ones. I feel like British chips are usually pretty big, similar to like a steak fry in the US. Now that we've got them sliced, I'm gonna take this bowl of cold water, add our potatoes in, and really just wash them around in here to get off any extra starch. I really don't know if anybody makes fancy chip buddies, but that's what we're doing today. Now I'm gonna pour off all this extra water, lay out this clean towel, and spread our potatoes out in here. Making sure your potatoes are dry is gonna be a key to getting them crispy. Then cover them up with a little bit of cooking oil, a really good pinch of salt, and some smoked paprika. Then give them a really good mix to make sure that all the spices and the oil are coating each of the fries equally. Now I'm gonna take the air fryer basket and lay the fries in here, making sure that they're spaced out so that the air can get all the way around them. Now I'm gonna cook these in the air fryer at 380 degrees for 10 minutes. The air fryer's over here now. There they go, off on your journey. I'm not gonna make you wait 10 minutes, so let's transition. That was a pretty good transition, wasn't it? So these are starting to soften up, but they're not really crispy yet, so I'm gonna give them all a flip and then put them back in at a little higher temperature until they're golden brown. To make our butter a little fancier, I started off by melting some in a bowl. Now I'm gonna take it, add it to this stainless steel bowl, and place that on top of some ice water in this bowl. I also went ahead and chopped up a bunch of rosemary and chives, and I'm gonna add those in. And now I'm gonna whisk this up. Doing this on top of ice water helps it rapidly cool, so we should be able to make a whipped butter in just about a minute. You can see it's starting to thicken up already. And there we go. And once you get it whipped, make sure you take it off the ice, otherwise it's gonna really harden up again. But look, it's some whipped butter. And now our fries are done. Sorry, I mean chips, not fries. So let's assemble our level 3 sandwich. 2 pieces of white bread, some whipped rosemary chive butter. Just gonna spread that on the inside. I think you gotta do a nice thick layer. It's looking all right. Now we're gonna take our homemade chips and add them on. I think adding them very specifically is gonna make this feel fancier. Our chips and our buddy. Ooh, and look, the heat from the chips is melting the butter. I think that's good. Let's get a cross section. I hate to say it, that actually looks really good. Honestly, like 2 minutes ago, I was kind of worried that this wasn't actually fancier than the last one. But looking at it now and looking at the cross section, it actually does look kind of fancy. I mean, look at that. That's a level 3 chip, buddy. Now let's see how it tastes. British people might be onto something. Now, admittedly, this is my first chip buddy ever, but this is fantastic. And I'm happy I went with the white bread. This feels elegant, but comforting. But I will admit that I feel like we just barely scraped by with this sandwich being fancier than the last one. So next time, we definitely gotta make sure we're fancier than this. Let's find out what our level 4 sandwich is gonna be. The egg sando. That's another really simple sandwich. It's literally like bread, eggs, and mayonnaise. Okay, I've got an idea. We can do this. Lock in. I went ahead and I bought some of the fanciest eggs I could find. These are blue eggs. They cost about $1 an egg. So here's $4 of eggs, and I'm gonna boil them. And I'm only gonna boil them for about 7 minutes and 15 seconds. Then I'll take the eggs out and place them into ice water. This stops the cooking. Crack them on the board and remove the shells with a spoon. Like that. I did it. But 4 eggs is really not a fancy meal, so we're gonna have to step this up a little bit. I think that it's very important that this egg sando has a really nice soft bread, which is why I'm using this fresh brioche bread. Look at that, nice and fluffy, but not fancy enough. Don't worry, I'm getting there. Now I'm gonna take 3 of our eggs, make sure you don't use your other one. Take 3 of the eggs and put them in this bowl, and then chop them up with the spoon. These fancy eggs I bought have super orange yolks, and then I also intentionally cooked them until they were just like a nice jammy texture, which I think is gonna be awesome. This means that the yolks are gonna become part of our sauce. Then once you've got everything chopped up into small pieces, take some Japanese mayo and add that with your eggs. Give it another mix. I'm gonna add just a touch of sesame oil and a splash of white soy sauce. Now I'll give this a taste. Oh, wow. That's so simple, but so delicious. I mean, look at that. I'm sorry, I don't know why I did whatever that was. Don't leave the video. It tastes fantastic, but it's not fancy. I know I told you that I was using expensive eggs here, but I bought a second type of eggs that's actually much fancier. One of the most expensive types of eggs you can get. Let me show you. This is caviar. And before you say, classic YouTuber, you're just gonna put caviar on the fancy thing, think about it for a second, okay? Egg sando, caviar's fish eggs. This is a pretty good way to use caviar. I think it's thematically appropriate. I'm not just using it just to make it fancy. I am. I guess that is what I'm doing. But it makes more sense than usual. And this tiny little container that's literally smaller than our egg cost me $55. I'm gonna put it all in there. So now this went from being about a $4 egg salad to a $59 egg salad. I think this makes sense too, because caviar is meant to be eaten with soft food so you can still appreciate its texture, and everything in here is gonna be soft still. So that's nice. Let's give it one more taste. It's genuinely very, very delicious. Is it worth $60? I don't know. But now I'm gonna add about half of our egg salad on here. Maybe not half, less than half. Add it on. Now I'm gonna take the extra egg, slice it in half. Look at that gorgeous jammy yolk. I'm gonna place that in the middle of our sandwich here. Then I'm gonna cover it up with more egg salad, just like that. I think there's no doubt that this sandwich is fancier than the last one. It's more expensive for sure. Now I'm gonna take our second piece of brioche, place that on top, and let me grab some paper. Now I'm gonna wrap this up, place some tape on it, and then we're gonna slice it in half. Look at that. Now that is an egg salad sandwich. Level 4 egg salad sando. So good. It's very well rounded. It feels very elegantly elevated. I think we nailed level 4, but we did give ourselves a challenge for level 5 because I used caviar on level 4. How are we gonna make level 5 fancier? I guess let's see what we get. I'm hoping for something a bit more complicated so that we can make it more complicated. Italian sub. Okay, there's a lot of ingredients on an Italian sub. Are they normally fancy? No. Wait, hold on. You look at what was on top. We just narrowly avoided the PB&J. That would have been bad. I think best scenario would have been something like a lobster roll or something that's like, you know, naturally more fancy, but I know how we can make a fancy level 5 Italian sub, and this thing is gonna be sweet. I do still have some of these sub rolls. We're not gonna use this. This is a hot dog bun. I refuse to believe that this is a sub roll. Ridiculous. Now this is a more appropriate roll to use for our level 5 sandwich. Look at the size difference. I'm gonna start by slicing this in half. Italian sub would typically use a few different meats. You would start with something like salami. So I'm adding salami. And I feel like there's usually a spicy salami as well, so let's add one of those. I'm gonna add some pepperoni because it's delicious. I literally just guessed how many pepperoni that was. Did you see that? That's how many I had in my hands. Wow. If we were making a normal Italian sub, I might stop here with the meat, but we're not making a normal Italian sub, and I'm not normal. So let's keep going. This is a fennel salami from Italy that cost me $10. This one can be kind of hard, so I'm gonna slice it super thin. That's so good. Let's add a bunch of it. I didn't use all of that salami on here, but we probably still have about $10 worth of meat on here already. But I'm not gonna stop there. Here's some Italian prosciutto, which is cured ham. It's super delicious, but you usually don't see it on Italian subs because just this small package of prosciutto costs $12. This is considered one of the best hams in the entire world. And I fit all $12 on our sub. So that puts us about $22 worth of meat. And the bread costs $3. So $25 sub sandwich already. I'm not done though. I mentioned prosciutto is one of the best hams in the world. Let me introduce you to one of the other best hams in the world, Jamón Ibérico. This package, look at the price on that. Can you look at it? Is that in focus? $30. The prosciutto was 3 ounces. $30 for this. It's just 10 pieces of ham. And they're little pieces. I guess I'm just gonna cut it in half. And we're just gonna lay it on like this. Not the best solution, but I cannot get these things separated. We're up to $55 on this sub already. Now let's add a layer of provolone. That probably only costs like $2. So what, $57. Now let's slice some tomato. Add that on. One more $1, $59. I'm gonna add some of these fancy pickled peppers. These are gonna give us a nice little bit of acidity on the sandwich. Now let's chop up some lettuce. Sprinkle that on top. I feel like I'm making like a Scooby-Doo sandwich right now. With the pickles and the lettuce, give it another $3 more. $62 sub. We're getting there, but I feel like that's how much the last sandwich cost. But guess what I found at the grocery store? Black truffle. Now these aren't fresh. They are preserved in water. I didn't know water was a great truffle preservative, but let's see if they're any good. Oh, it feels like a sponge. Just slice 3 water preserved truffles over this. Now these ones really don't shave very well, but it did give us the opportunity to add $30 more of ingredients. Now we're at $92, but let's keep going. I went and bought the most expensive balsamic vinegar I could find in my grocery store. This bottle was $20. You just have to shake this thing like really aggressively to get it to come out. How elegant. Like, look at this. I can't see the Italians doing this. And now for our oil, I'm using the most expensive olive oil I've ever bought. And I think this olive oil was $98 for the bottle. So let's add some $100 olive oil. Let's add a sprinkling of salt. Let's add some Italian herb. And if we assume that the olive oil cost $1 worth of olive oil, that brings our grand total for this sandwich's cost to that much. Now that is a level 5 Italian sub. I can't believe I spent that much money on this. It's a good thing this video is sponsored. I mean, look at this thing. It really is like a Scooby-Doo sandwich. I'm gonna slice this open and take a bite. But before I do that, I just wanna say thank you for watching this far into the video. It really means a lot. I've been putting a lot of effort into learning how to make long form videos, figuring out how to run all these different cameras, tell longer stories. It's been a process, and we're definitely still in the middle of the process, but hopefully you can see that I'm making little improvements with each new video. Leave a comment if there's something you've seen that you want me to try to improve. Be nice about it, but I will read the comments and try to make the best videos I can for y'all. The more views we get, the more sponsors we'll be able to get, and we're gonna be able to do some really, really cool stuff very soon. Thank you for being here for this one. Now let's see how it is. Look at that sandwich. This thing's heavy, really heavy. I don't know how I'm even gonna take a bite of this, but I'm gonna do it for you. I got good news and I got bad news. The good news is delicious. Fantastic sandwich. The bad news, I bought $5 subs before that taste just like this. This was a horrible financial decision. It's not worth the amount of money, not at all. Unless it made you smile, then it's worth it to me. Love you guys. See you in the next one.
Wow.
Brittany, choose an emoji for them to comment if they made it to the end.
The koala bear, my favorite animal.
Comment a koala bear if you made it this far.
Can I use it?
Yeah, just take a bite.
I got to unlock my jaw for this. It's like a shaggy sandwich.
Yeah, that's what I said. Scooby-Doo. Yeah, a little something.
Something to check that.